Hi, welcome. So fun. Hmm. Oh, hey, Caitlin. One of my friends on here. Hi. Hmm. We're just waiting for everybody to join. We'll give it just another moment or two before we dive in here.
Yes, we'll be starting in a few minutes, 5 minutes max. JJ is gonna join us in a minute also.
There she is.
Here she is.
Oh my God. Oh my, give me 32 seconds until I find the conference room to sit my buns down on, and I am with you.
Okay.
Love it. We love JJ. She lives in every reality. She's in every reality, every realm, all of the time. Obsessed. We're waiting for others to join too, JJ. Like, no rush on your end.
Oh my God, that was gnarly, you guys, getting into the Condé Nast Condé Nast Tower in New York. You're right. All the realms, Liz Hayes, all the realms. And
You are the queen of all the realms.
And I feel like this is, it's funny. And as everybody, this is Marie, who does our communications in the United States, who's just amazing. And we were just with another journalist uptown, and coming downtown. I was on the train looking at the beautiful thing that you channeled, Liz, again. And I know that we'll get that out to the class, I guess right after this, but it just prompted a lot. It prompted so much. Just reading what you wrote just got me going. And I was like, knowing exactly what I need. Because I think that this is like following up on what you discussed last time. The inner child is all about this, do we give ourselves permission to know what we need and give ourselves what we need? Or do we have a lot of shame and blame around that? And are we always avoiding what we truly need? And it was so funny because then this will be the last thing I say, but I don't know. I just got this download on the train. And with you, of course, there's always this. The full moon eclipse, this whole eclipse season that's like 2 or 3 weeks right now, we have this window. I'm not sure why, but Virgo, I can't remember why, but Virgo is presenting really, really hardcore. And I have a Virgo rising in my chart, but even if you don't have a Virgo in your chart, basically, this is like the part of us that are systems analysts and like very structured and want structure. So I started understanding like there was a part of me that always wants systems to be working flawlessly, and 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 how to work with that energy when the system isn't working. Do you see what I'm saying? Like what do I need? And I got a little download that what I actually need is to just command the system to reset. So
Yes.
whether that's a system inside me or around me, I command, invoke, and decree all systems reset, going back to infinite, divine, harmonious order now. Like, and it was sort of like this like magic spell that, my inner being, higher self dreamed up for my inner child. So I wanted to just share that with you.
Oh my gosh, how good does that feel? And it's that easy. It's that easy to just signal, to sense. We're going to go into this, but this is the beauty of the inner child. The inner child is the one that is sensing, like there's chaos, or it's a mess, or it's out of sorts. And then, like you said, if you have the awareness of it, and it becomes not a big deal that you're sensing the disorder, then you could just demand like reset, and
Reset.
it happens.
And it happened. I feel so good. Everything is fine. everyone is safe, as you
Yep.
said, and this is what really resonated. I've been talking about your inner child workshop with a lot of the journalists I've been meeting in New York. They're all like super curious, and I think that the theme that landed the most with me last week when you were talking was just this aspect of safety and what that really means. So I'd love, before you jump in, maybe we
Yeah.
want to hear some shares from some other of our guests today, if you feel good about that.
Yeah, I feel great about it. I just want to welcome everybody. You may or may not have been on the call live last time. You may have listened to the recording. This might be the first thing you're coming into. I just want to welcome you. And however, I am Liz Hayes, and I don't have a particular title that is kind of coming, but inner child channeler.
Inner child channeler, whisperer
Okay.
channeler, friend, playmate, everything.
Exactly. And then the people that have come from my space into here, this is JJ Martin. This is her sisterhood space that we are in. And she has her fashion brand La Double J, and they're all about raising the vibration in every single way. Every single way. And JJ is the perfect example, as she lives in all of the realms. Like I often see JJ as just how like you sense into something, and like literally your only job is to like reset the system, and then you could like fly away and then come in and reset. And all of us here live in many other realms, and I like to just lay that out, and then I would love to hear from all of you. But I see it as containers. So we have the container of yourself, but then you move into containers of different relationships, or a different segment, the container of your business, the container of your motherhood, the container of a relationship, like all of those different containers, and we bebop kind of around it. And it's so important to come home to the container of you. That's where your reset is. That's where you give the feedback to your higher self of like, it's kind of like help, or like a fire hose. I'm just like, help, I interacted with all of this, and now here's the feedback from my interaction. That's really kind of what we laid out on day one. And so anyways, we'd love to hear from any of you that would like to share anything and everything. In this space, you're able to unmute yourself and speak. Some people I'm seeing are from my mothership that are here, and on that space, we communicate through the chat, through texting in the chat. But here, you're welcome to unmute if there's anything you'd like to share.
I'll jump in, Liz. And I was just driving down to Tuscany, and I wanted to re-listen to what we did last Sunday, because when we did it, I went into a very subconscious space. I didn't know if I was awake or asleep, and I didn't remember much of your words afterwards, so I wanted to re-listen to it more attentively. So it was a really magical drive listening to it a couple of hours ago, and there's a couple of things that stuck with me. For example, this that I love the language, and I love the language that the inner being uses towards the inner child. For in a lot of realms, for example, the even the openness to some sort of resentment or criticism or a challenge or fit or tantrum that creates a lot of safety in the communication, because it really allows and gives permission to anything that comes up. And that's really beautiful, and I think it's really beautiful and bold to bring it even in the dimension of the divine. And because of course the divine can understand and include also that. And also the importance of checking in. I mean, this question that came a few times. How is it going? How is it going for you? How is it going for you on this planet, on this in this incarnation? It's easy to give for granted that we should be adapted to it, that we should cope with it, that we should be okay with it. But it's wild, and it's good to remember. I mean, it's good to look at it from this perspective. So I love to bring these questions and to bring this perspective with me.
Good job. Love this.
Thank you.
Hi, Liz.
Hi.
Last week, or Sunday, actually, it wasn't really that long ago, that you spoke. One thing that really stood out to me that felt very new was the thought that your inner child isn't wounded. Your inner child is just the true essence of who you are. And I really enjoyed hearing that it seems like such a positive light inside of you, that little sort of gold nugget. And so thank you for that.
Ah, yes. 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 And she might have some wounds. As you are in the space, she might point at some things like, this was hard for me. But she is not it. She is not the wound. It's like, this happened to me. And she is this golden, gorgeous consciousness that desires to be alive, that is alive and desires to be alive, and has opinions and preferences and interests and curiosities, and knows a lot. So much, knows so much. One of my favorite things to do is to interview inner children. Like, we take a topic and then I'll go into these interviews of Tell Me. There will be more opportunities for us to interact in this kind of work, but there's so much wisdom in the inner child, and you can begin interviewing your own inner child, like exactly that one phrase, like, how's it going? How's it going there for you? What's up for you? How's this going? Thank you for sharing this. I want to share one thing too. Anytime anyone in my life transitions, dies, the main thing that comes from my heart always is well done, like job well done. Like, we are born, we come into these bodies, we come into this life experience, and every human life is full of navigating. And I just feel that way, like, well done. And well done to all the people around them, like everybody around a person it's sort of like we're in a play of the role that you played for the person to have the life experience that they had. And it's like, well done. Maybe that's even the opening here to us alive here in this moment, and allowing this expression to our inner children. Well done. So often too, like I had shared on day one, the inner child isn't a age, it's all of you. And so in any experience we're having, there are many versions of the inner child that are kind of having the experience too. And so, in a day we touch forward and back and like all over the place. We're not just here as this exact person who we are right now. And so just even that expression as we kind of touch all over in our life, like, well done. Anyone else want to share anything? Thank you for these shares. Yes.
I was just gonna add that this, at a certain point, like when you go through a dramatic moment when you don't feel safe, because I think it's interesting that we're talking about safety. I found that my access point to safety was to tune into the goodness of me, which is what you teach. And so like that is easy for me. First, I just showed up on earth knowing my goodness, and so I'm lucky. But when I don't feel safe, I access safety through tuning into the goodness of me. And I'm like, okay, because I know I'm good and I'm innocent and I'm deserving, I am naturally safe. Like it allows me to be like, oh, that makes sense that I'm safe, even though I'm feeling alarm right now and I'm tuning in, I'm calming down and I'm slowing down and I'm tuning into my goodness. And so just thought I would share that that's my fastest access to safety.
Love this. Thank you. Anyone else here want to pop in and share anything?
You know, Liz, I was
had
just,
to- oh,
Vi, you go ahead.
hi. Okay, I just had this thought um with the axe from Liz of like our job well done in life at the end of our life, but I think a lot of our inner children have a hard time also holding on to old stories or old, right? Like when we have this, when a play's over with, like we don't go into the Wizard of Oz being like, man, remember Cinderella? Where like we let the Wizard of Oz be the Wizard of Oz. And for me, that's been like the biggest learning point is like, job well done on the end of certain plays and moving into the full play of like the full play and letting it be what it's supposed to be. Because the Wizard of Oz can't be kick ass if you're like, well, remember when Cinderella did this? It's like, well, that's not the play.
I
So that
love
has been my biggest learning point is like, you don't have to die to have a job well done.
That's an excellent point. And I was gonna, at the same time, and I think it's related, I was gonna say that most of us are, we're more familiar with judgment and criticism than we are compliments and job well done. And not only are we more familiar with it's almost like we're trained for it and we're not accustomed to the compliments, and some people even resist them. So it's something to really practice, that you're allowed, that you're still safe when you're doing a job well done. Like, and again, that's that Virgo. Again, sorry if I repeat, but I did some deep diving on the Virgo. It's like, it's always finding the nitpicking issues, and it's a beautiful system because it's a perfectioning system, but we have to be aware and avoid the pitfalls of that, which turn us too tightly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we always want to go towards that, perfecting of the system, but allow for the mistakes, through, and allow for the compliments. And so it's always like an interesting weaving. It's not one or the other. It's always kind of both, no?
I'm seeing what you're saying as a cleaner. Like the purpose of the Virgo is to clean or refine or edit, not maybe poke and hurt. Like it could have a softness around it of like, oh, we're just cleaning, clearing, editing, sorting, sifting. Also, your point I love about the compliments is when I go into the channeling and the inner being is seeing the inner child and the inner being is saying nice things to the inner child. At many times, the inner child says bullshit. The inner child rejects the comfort coming from the inner being. This happens all, like, so often. I see this, and that's why as we lay this out, I sort of, if that rises up and that's true for you, that's true. We don't fight it. Whatever the energetics are initially towards the inner being, the inner child isn't wrong for those feelings. And often, there's a major inner reconciliation that happens in the foundation this work of the inner child being like, well, how can I really trust you? And one of the things that I've noticed the most in inner children are that positive emotions registers the most dangerous, because all of us in our navigating, and Britt, who spoke on here, Britt is a guide from my guiding program. And this is wisdom that she so much was born with and gave to me, was that we are born, and some of us in our environment, there's such a mix between what is spoken and the vibration that it isn't true, it isn't synced up. And so we develop a bullshit meter. And how I see it is like a pager on our waist. And this is our dominant thing. And so as the inner child, as there's a positive emotion that comes up, there's a danger, because will I be aware of my bullshit meter if I'm over here soft and feeling good? Is it safe to come over here and be soft and feeling good? And so this isn't anything I would ever convince an inner child of, but when you are feeling good, you are with the divine. And the divine is the most epic helper in keeping you safe. But I would never convince you of this. This is something you need to soften into and get your own knowing about, because there is no convincing an inner child. There is no, because the inner child is where your knower is. That's where your knowing is. And so you want to have a pager that says bullshit, because that keeps you safe. And the bullshit meter isn't, it's intuition also. It's intuition of like, this isn't a mismatch. This isn't, don't, like, ease up, don't 100% trust this thing. Like, lay out the parameters, because you want to be safe. To be safe, you do have to understand what's unsafe. You have to be honest. You have to be honest. And so this work is wildly profound, because it's integrating. For many of us, we're dominant, the inner child. Then we have some sort of awakening, and we go on a seeking journey, and we open up into the divine. And now this work is gorgeous in integrating all of the aspects of you. And it's like, when you're coming into reading things that are about unconditional love and consciousness and oneness, it's very pulled back. And in this work, it makes the inner being dominant of the inner child. But in our work, it is the inner being is as significant as the inner child, that these are equally significant aspects. And then this is where this balance comes in, and what I call the magic of living, because the inner child has the safety within them to be honest about the bullshit meter, to be honest about being scared, to be honest that they're needy, to be not honest that they need help with, to be honest, like, whoa, system's out of sort, reset. You get this comfort of being honest about what's up. And then the divine, because of this honesty, the divine is then able to help you more and more and more and more and more and more. And you're living a life of many miracles and synchronicities. This is the thrill. I don't teach manifestation. I teach this part where there is this sync up. It's like this gorgeous like explosion, or like evaporating of into kind of the wholeness. And then from there, whatever you had kind of dreamt or imagined or whatever comes through in a bit of an effortless way. It's effortless because you're willing to be honest about the conflict. You're kind of handling the conflicts moment by moment. And for me, it is the fun of kind of being in my life. It's like do, and it's kind of like it becomes a little bit of no big deal because you're aware of your magic button of like help. And all the responsibility isn't on you. It isn't on the inner child. You're genuinely in a co-creative state. And it's super fine at times where you go into a lot of focus, so that would make the inner child dominant, or the seasons of your life where you've really pulled back from life to go deep into understanding the spirituality. Everything has its balance, and a balance might be like, oh, for 2 years I was like in a monk's cave. Like that was your balance then. And then eventually you come into this kind of balance of equal inner child, inner being, and it becomes lighter to be alive. Allowing just a couple of big exhales and inhales. We're talking about real things, the navigating of life. And well done to each of you. You're here. Well done for everything you've navigated to make it here. I have a little bit of a roadmap of the creation mode, and it involves safety, like we talked about last week. It involves the goodness, the awareness of the goodness of you. I love what Reed shared. Like he is this gorgeous knower of this. It's like his medicine. Like he was just like, oh, like I've never had a doubt about that. And so anyways, that's a beautiful example for all of us who mostly have a doubt about that. Our whole life, we're trying to prove that we're good. We're doing all of the things to finally get the sticker and the award. And yeah, you were born good. And then we get into the place. And for many of you, you know the chakra system. So this is really how it goes. So our root chakra is our safety. And so we come into the awareness that of the inner child being safe. And this does not mean the environment around you is safe. It means you're safe to navigate the environment around you. And the environment around you, remembering, is conditional. It has steps, like just a basic thing. You're in a house. It has a changing of texture of a floor. It has, like, from a physical standpoint, there are things to navigate. And then obviously from an energetic, a mental, emotional, like all of these things, there's a bazillion of things to navigate in an environment. And so it is safety that you're in an environment that has variety. Nobody here is in an environment that doesn't have variety, because that's what life is. Life is the variety. And so the root chakra of the safety, awareness that we're safe to navigate our safety. This is not a fake sticker we're putting over like, oh, I'm safe no matter what. No, you might be unsafe. You're safe to navigate your safety. And then we go above that, and this is our goodness. Awareness that we were born good. Awareness that the nature of us is good. Awareness that the nature of our inner being is good. Then we go above this to the solar. There's so much that happens there, but this is where I land preference. And preference is all about what we like and what we don't like. I want to go back to the goodness, because when we hit goodness, there is like, oh, I'm good and everything's good. No, everything isn't good. So then we shift above that and we go into preference and we say, tell me what you like and tell me what you don't like. This is the inner being saying to the inner child. And I always see this as just, I imagine how we all used to take spelling tests and we would fold the piece of paper in half. And that's how I imagine it. What do you like? Put it on the liking side. What do you not like? Put it on the disliking side. And then this is the challenge for everybody. Leave it there. So much attachment rises up about preference because as soon as you say you don't like something, it's like, oh, you should try to manipulate it or mold it and force it to move sides, or even a naughtiness about liking. We're moving into an age where, just even on the topic of sexuality, it's easier to have sexual preference. But for many inner children, like this initial thing of like, oh my gosh, I like something that someone's saying is naughty or wrong or bad. No, your liking also gets to land on your liking. Your disliking gets to land on your disliking. And then you get to take your hands off of it. There's nothing for you to do. And then from there, we move up into the heart space, which this is our interest and curiosity. And this space in the heart space, when we tune to when we ask the inner child, what are you interested and curious about now? And that could be in a general way, or it could get really specific. Like, oh, we're on this call. What am I interested and curious about now on this call? Even as basic as being in a conversation, like, oh, what am I interested and curious about this interaction with this person or this experience? Because from that interest and curiosity, it creates this loop of life force. And I always just see it as kind of this magical road that like pours out of the heart. And the head doesn't need to figure out the details. There's nothing to really do about it. There's just a gorgeous, warm feeling about what you're interested and curious about. I just want to say also the vibration that's happening on this call is doing the work for you. There are major things happening for each person on this call, whether here right now physically or listening to the recording. That's also the beauty of this work, is that it happens to you. You don't need to try or to effort. I could feel many people, I can feel an energy on here of just interacting with other people. And so as we understand these 4 pillars of safety and goodness and preference and our interest and curiosity, then when we're also interacting with other people, which everybody is an inner child, our energy field just naturally is soothing to them because we've soothed ourselves. And so when you interact with someone, you're able to see like, oh, they're just navigating their safety. And in this beautiful way, you just gently know a gentle thing to say or an expression that relaxes them into their safety. A parallel kind of funnel to this creation mode that I laid out is like an overthinking mode that really is about navigating shame. And shame is just adequacy or inadequacy or judgment about being right or wrong. And so when those harder energies are coming up where you feel yourself overthinking, or you're in a conversation that has a lot of overthinking or needing to figure things out, I just want to remind you that there's this other parallel side of the creation mode. And to enter that, you can start at the top or the bottom. You could start at the safety, or you could start at the interest and curiosity. And that will slurp you up over into the side. But in this creation mode, instead of like the overthinking is really at the preference part, and it's really attachment about preference. And so we just kind of, because it's not wrong to sort and sift, we just make it a little lighter, and we're like, oh, this isn't preference. This is just about what I like and what I don't like. And actually, what I like and what I don't like isn't a problem. And I don't know what's going to happen from what I like and what I don't like, but we lay this out to the divine, like, here's what I like and here's what I don't like. And then we take our hands off and the divine takes care of it. It makes a project better. It makes a relationship better. It makes a moment better. Some of this work that we're kind of laying out, you'll have deeper moments with it where maybe you're in a private space and you're doing some inner talking about it. And then also, there will be moments like JJ had described her moment, just simply on a train from downtown to uptown, and had this little slight check-in with herself that downloaded this cool button of just like reset the system. And then she's getting to arrive to her next segment aligned. Moments like that will happen too. It's a bit of a boundary to the inner child as we give space to the inner child to speak. The inner child is going to be so excited and eager to speak to you, and it might seem like all day all the inner child wants to do is to be able to speak because it's been freed. And I just also want to say that you will learn to nurture yourself like this, like, oh, I'm aware you want to speak, but I do have these meetings to attend to. So I have this moment to hear from you now. And later today, after all of these meetings, I'll have a longer segment to hear you and to listen to you. And I want to know everything you have to say. And at this moment, I have this kind of container to hear you. As we give parameters like this, it could initially activate a tantrum of, whatever, but it's okay. You'll notice the inner child will rest into it. And at times we even can say, like, I'm aware you're disappointed and upset. You can stay disappointed and upset, but the whole of us is going to move into this thing where we're going to be synced up. We're going to do our best. I want to move into a deeper meditative moment that will likely wrap us up for today. But before we do that, just kind of coming into this more awake space and thanking ourselves for being open and receptive. Thanking ourselves for coming into this space, thanking ourselves for being here. Thanking JJ for creating this space of the sisterhood, which is not about a gender. It's about sharing and community. And so here we go into this beautiful meditative space to see whatever nurturing and soothing wants to come up. So here we go, welcoming the inner child, welcoming the inner being, welcoming everything that matters to you. Dear inner child, I see you, I love you, I am aware of you, dear inner being. I see you, I love you, I am aware of you. Here we are. Here we are in this space of just you and you. Even though we're in a space of others who are also in their own container of them and them. It's okay that there's awareness that you're here with yourself, but you're also here in this group. We're going to allow the awareness of the group to fall away and to come into this singular awareness of you. Dear inner child, we see you, we love you, we are aware of you. Dear inner being, we see you, we love you, we are aware of you. Together, we're expanding our understanding of safety. This is a fun experiment. Even quest. It can be as gentle or as intense as you are wanting it to be. You, the inner child, have the controls. You, the inner child, say faster, slower, more, stop. That is your role. That is your responsibility, is to recognize and realize that your hand is the one on the controls. It's okay to go slow. In this work, we often say we go slow to go fast. It's okay that you have fast momentum running through you. It's okay to slow down for a moment or moments. To then allow that jet stream to flow through you. Dear inner child, we see you, we love you, we are aware of you. Dear inner being, we see you, we love you, we are aware of you. You are safe to feel good. You are safe to know the goodness of you. Often the questioning of goodness is a motivator for achievement and success. It's okay if it feels nervous or uncertain to ease up on being good and knowing of your goodness regardless of a performance. It's okay to recognize that you've been in a achievement state. And maybe you could see that it's cute and adorable and it's been helpful. We're not going to wrong that state at all, but we're going to show you a new way where you could populate through preference instead of revving yourself up through doubt around your goodness. Dear inner child, we see you, we love you, we are aware of you. Dear inner being, we see you, we love you, we are aware of you. Allowing a couple large inhales and exhales. Remembering that we're exploring these concepts that we're laying out. You are literally getting life experience right now in this way about these concepts around safety and around your goodness, reminding you that we will not convince you of anything, that you will come to your own unique knowing. You're knowing about how you calibrate to your safety. You're knowing about what you choose to do about your goodness. Do you choose to have awareness that you're good? That you were genuinely, literally born good? And now we could enter preference. Hey, inner child, just because you don't like what is going on, it doesn't mean that you're bad. You are good and you don't like some things that are going on. Now you're in your power because you're not fighting the divine. The divine only sees you as good. The divine knows of the goodness of you. And as you know the goodness of you, you then begin to sync up and allow to see life through the eyes of the divine. And so now the divine says to you, hey, tell me about what you don't like. You're good and you don't like a whole lot of things going on. Tell me about it. Perhaps, and only your life experience will give this to you, but perhaps you'll begin creating more through preference instead of motivating yourself through doubt. And as we're here in this preference mode, where it is not a problem at all to say all of the things you don't like. And then, of course, laying out all the things you do like, because what you do like, you want more of that. We also want to remind you that it's okay to dislike things about people, other people. That it doesn't make the other person bad either. Remembering we're not going over into this overthinking side where we're righting and wronging and labeling adequate and inadequate. If you're wanting to clean up a vibration with somebody that it's a relationship you matter about, it actually, the best thing you could do is come into a conversation, the conversation with your inner being, and tell your inner being what you don't like about someone you're interacting with. As this lays out and you release the charge about it, it gives space and an opportunity for the relationship or situation to evolve. And often this can evolve without you needing to physically say anything to the person. This is one of the best magic tricks. As you come into your creation mode, remembering the entrance is safety. Then the entrance is knowing you're good and letting yourself be good. And then this very active spot here where you could imagine yourself laying out things on a table if you want, and half of the table is your liking and half is disliking, or even a whole table of disliking. Lay it all out. And when we lay it out and then we let it go, we give it to the divine, we take our hands off, this is where the magic happens. Nothing for you to do about it. You did what you needed to do. This is your part. Your role is to communicate. And so you did your part, and now you get to just move on to the next thing and see what happens. And if, for example, a conversation is needed, you will know. And the conversation will be so clean. It will feel simple. It will feel clean, light, easy. It will be easy for the person to even receive the conversation because the resistance will have fallen away and you're not giving somebody a blob of frequency that is mixed with shame, of inadequacy. It's just clear. Hey, we're not going that way anymore. Hey, I need to do it this way instead. This is one example of a way to use preference and to actually let yourself say what you don't like. Remembering that you're saying it here in this inner container of just you and your inner being. And that it's a safe space to say this, that this isn't gossip. It's between you and you. And actually, when you lay things out in this way, it benefits everyone. Because you're honoring yourself as safe and good, and you're honoring whomever you're interacting with also as safe and good. You're not matching in the drama. Again, saying what you don't like doesn't make you bad. So funny, the things that rise up about this. So here we go. Dear inner child, I see you. I love you. I am aware of you. Dear inner being, I see you. I love you. I am aware of you. Allowing another exhale. And now here we enter our interests and curiosity. Dear inner child, what are you interested and curious about now? If you're looking for an access to fast moving energy, this is it. This is it. This is what opens your energy channel. This is what opens your receiving mode. This is what opens massively exciting vibrations, feelings. Is about what you're interested and curious about. Again, you could play with interest and curiosity on categories. Food. Dinner tonight. What am I interested and curious about dinner tonight? Or something bigger, like a time frame. What am I interested and curious about for this decade that I'm entering? 5 years, 1 year. What am I interested and curious about the summer? The weekend? The rest of this month? It's playful, it's light, it's easy, it's easeful. What am I interested and curious about my romance? Or another relationship? Or your home? Dear inner child, we see you, we love you, we are aware of you. Dear inner being, we see you, we love you, we are aware of you. Well done touching each of these segments. You will have this audio and you'll be able to use it as you feel inspired to. And then there will also be journal prompts for each of these 4 segments that we laid out. And when your inner child is wanting to go deeper and you have a private space and you're just in a mood like that, you can go that way. There's nothing more interesting or fascinating than you. This is the way your inner being feels about you. There is nothing more interesting and fascinating than you, the inner child. And there is nothing more interesting and fascinating to the inner child than yourself. This is where the juice is. This is where your power is. This is where this magic of being alive is. This is where the expansion is, the evolution is, the juice. wrapping up here. Dear inner child, we see you, we love you, we are aware of you. Dear inner being, we see you, we love you, we are aware of you. And for now, in this moment, in this space, we are complete. Thank you, everybody. So gorgeous and ending right on time. I love you. So very fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody. I look forward to Sunday, and you'll see me, feel me in your email and out and about. Thank you so much. Okay, until next time.
Liz, you're amazing. You're amazing. I gotta run, but I love you.
I love you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you,
soon.
Liz. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'll see you on Sunday. I'll see everybody on Sunday.
Yes, so great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.